A recent Gallup study showed that 59% employees are disconnected from their work. And this is one of the factors which should make you and me think that is it this the right time to quit your job. I quit my job at the age of 41 years. I spent like 18 years in corporate and I quit my job at 41 years old. Right now I'm 44 years old and I believe that was the best decision I took at the time when I quit. And I also switched two jobs during that period. So I do know what it is to quit the job. So in this video, I share my thoughts on what factors are there should encourage you to quit your job. So point number one is the mental or physical stress. If you are in a job where you are suffering either mentally or physically, it's like too much to take. My recommendation is to just quit that job. I had been in one job at the time where I was in more of the mental stress because of one of my bosses. I was in such a stress, and that's when I decided to quit. So I hold a really big factor in this, that if you are not mentally present in your work, you don't enjoy your work, that it's causing you mental stress because of either your boss or the work itself, then I recommend to just quit, because you won't be able to give to that work, and it's going to cause problems for you, like mental issues. Mental health will be affected because of that. So that's one of the reasons to quit. The other reason is if you have some physical issues at work, if someone is abusing you at work or causing issues, it doesn't matter if you're going to lose your income. My suggestion, to be honest, is just quit that job. There are hundreds of jobs. Even you won't get for 6 months, 1 year, that's fine. But suffering that mental or physical abuse is one of the worst things you can go through. It really harms your life. So my suggestion is that's one of the biggest factors to just quit your job. It doesn't matter if you have another job in your pocket or not. It's time to just quit your job. That's my suggestion. Point number two is lack of growth. So I have faced this myself, and I have done bad things or mistakes in this myself. So when we work in like corporate, there are times when the lack of growth, the growth will stop basically. It can be due to various factors. Either you are stuck in the same role and you're not getting promoted, or you're stuck in the same project and the project is not going ahead. Maybe it's going like degrading, or just in maintenance mode, or you're just doing the same things every day, so you're not growing over there. Another factor could be your company is not growing. So you might be doing a lot of work, but the company is stagnating, not growing. So all these are factors to think about quitting your job and moving. Either you could move to another project within the same company, or you quit your job, move to another company. So that would be the feasible thing to do. And in this situation, and perhaps the other situations, it's better you get another job and then move, because it will be difficult if you just quit and then start searching job. Maybe you won't get job for a few months, especially in times like now. So it's much better to parallelly keep searching a job and then quit, or switch to a project or something, because that will be keeping your income stable, and that's the best way to do it. So I did a mistake that I stayed in the same job for like 15 years or more. So the reason was complicated, because in my case the main thing was the money, and we were getting like on-site rotations and stuff. So even though I'm not making enough money in India maybe, but when we used to go to on-site, we used to kind of recover that part, and then we could be able to make more money compared to our Indian job. So that was one of the reasons that kept me. The other was the work-life balance was good in this. So maybe I could have switched to another company, but then I would be working say 12 hours a day. Here I could work like 8 hours to 9 hours a day and make decent income. There I would work 12 hours a day, I would make more income, but the per hourly income would not be that much, and the stress on my head would be more. So all these factors made me think about staying in the same job, which you can also think about. What are your priorities? Whether you prioritize growing, or you prioritize something like stability, or you prioritize it's closer to your home, factors like that. So are you currently thinking about quitting a job, or have you thought about in the past? What has been the reason? Was it lack of growth? Was it the money? Was it stress? Was it lack of freedom? So let me know in the comments below. Point number three, there's no challenge in the work anymore. That's a time to consider quitting your job. So I've been in situation like this where it's like the project is going on and you try to give your inputs, you try to improve the business, you try to become more, or give more than what you expected. You try to give a positive direction to the company, to the project that you're in, but no one seems to listen to you, or it's just stagnating, So you have tried repeated times. There are like inefficiencies in the company policies, the project, and you try to improve them. You try to give suggestions to those in charge to make the changes, but no one is listening to you. So that's probably one of the time you should consider or think about quitting your job, because I have been in this situation myself. And what happens is you keep trying for months, maybe years, and no one is listening, and then it keeps affecting you like mentally, that you get frustrated that your output, your result, you are seeing that there can be significant improvements in the business and it can give a lot of value to the clients and to your own company, but no one seems to be listening. So it's stuck in all this red tape. So that can have a really like mental stress on you, on frustration on your mind. So that's the best time to think about quitting your job. Point number four, which is the most common, is more money. So yes, money is an important thing. You work. I work because we want money, and every year like we are expecting appraisal, and we expect good appraisal naturally, 10, 15, 20%, whatever is the case in your case, or it may be. And if you don't get that, you get frustrated. So not getting appraisal is not that frustrating. I found the biggest issue in corporate, which every company has this problem, is the appraisal system. It's horrible because it's not transparent. So you can work really good throughout the year, so no one will notice about that. You can get the best profits for the company, for your project, no one will notice that. What happens is at the end of the year or the period when the appraisal starts, you'll be asked to fill some points in an appraisal system which no one knows how it works, and just you'll have maybe one meeting with a manager, and in just that time they will decide that you get some points based on some system, some equation, some algorithm. It will allocate you some points, and that point is not like it's relative. It's not absolute. So even if you get like 99 points out of 100, it doesn't mean that you'll have a good appraisal. What will happen is it will get into the system and then check throughout the company, for example, that if everyone is getting 99, 98, then it means that your appraisal again will be average or below average, because it doesn't matter how much work you did. So it's not transparent. That's what I hated about it. So if I have got profit for my project, if I have got business profit for the company, then I should be valued based on that, and my appraisal should be done based on that, not what someone who is a fresher who is sitting without any project and I have to support his salary. That's not my problem, to be honest. That's the company who is doing the mismanagement. So based on this, that can be frustrating, and that's when it's time to move. If appraisal doesn't go well, you were expecting, and this has been happening especially for years and years. I've seen people complain for years and years and years that the appraisal is not good, but they are staying in the same company, because it's basically that frog in the pond type of situation, or frog in the hot water situation, where they are comfortable enough to that they're getting enough income that it takes care of their expenses and stuff at home. So they don't want to take that like headache of moving to another job. That's why they're stuck over there and frustrated, just complaining. But this is the best time. If two, three, four appraisals and you're not getting your worth, it's time to quit and move to another job. Maybe nowadays it's even worth to move your job based on the number of years. So if you work for like 3, 4 years in one company, maybe it's better to move to another company, because it gives you a big jump in the job. Of course, that depends on the job market, but it's always better to start searching job when you have completed 3, 4, 5 years in one company. You can get a higher increment actually, compared to if you are staying in the same company. And point number five is having enough for you. So this applies for people like me. So I kind of quit my job at the age of 41. I got out of corporate. I went into working for myself, like through blogging and later freelancing, content creation, affiliate marketing. I went to those channels because I wanted to have more freedom from over my time, how much I worked, over my how much money I could make. There was no ceiling on this compared to jobs. It was more transparent, and I could make as much money as I wanted. So all these factors were there. I could work from any location. I was not location dependent. So all these factors encouraged me to like quit my job. And at that time, I had saved, invested sufficient money, created a backing, and also my side hustles were making like enough income that I could quit my job. And I decided that December 2022, that would be the year I would quit my job. So based on these factors, it's not like I could have not continued the job, but it's like I decided that I had enough. I had enough of the money. I needed other things like the peace, like the freedom. I needed more of that, the location freedom, the making money freedom, the time freedom. So I needed more of that, and that's the reason I decided to quit. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next.